What's up, everybody? Welcome up to a new year with the Frag Illuminati. Hope your 2022 year was a good year. 2023 is going to even be better. So, we're here today to talk about niche fragrances. What are they? What do they mean? What is the definition? And is there any difference between niche and regular fragrances? So, we got a panel of guys here that we're going to talk about. We're going to go back and forth and kind of share our opinions on it. So, just hang tight. We're coming along, and me, Eric, Bernie, and Andre, we're going to be chopping up a little bit. So, just hang tight. We'll be right back.
Trey's on the track.
Hey, let that ride.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to 2023 with the Frag Illuminati. We're back at you again this year, kicking it off, taking it to a whole different level from what we did in 2022. We were starters out in 2022, and rookies, we're making a Pro Bowl this year in 2023. So, fellas, say hello to the people out there, starting with Rock, and then the B-Man.
Happy New Year, everybody. What's going on? This is Rock. Y'all already know what it is.
Happy New Year's, everybody. Welcome back to another year.
All right. Well, we're here to talk about niche fragrances. If you're in the fragrance community, you've heard the term niche. Niche associated is said to be fragrances made by fragrance companies or companies themselves or entities that primarily focus on nothing but fragrances. They don't make clothing, they don't make garments, they don't make shoes. And supposedly, the reason for that is because if they concentrate theirs solely on the fragrance and they put everything of value back into the fragrance, they have the best quality, supposedly. They are more dedicated to the fragrance than they would be versus having to make shoes, clothing, and so on and so on. So I'm going to ask the fellas, man. I mean, first, the thing that I said, niche fragrances, my first question is, are they expensive? Do they have to be expensive? I'm going to ask your opinion. Eric?
Go ahead, E.
I mean, from my experience, they vary in price range. You do find some that you can find some niche fragrances in the mid 100s, and then you got some that go as expensive as $3,500. So I've seen some I've seen niche fragrances that have reached that plateau. Are they worth it? In my opinion, I mean, I guess it just depends on that fragrance and the value that you place on that particular fragrance. I myself haven't found the need to spend as much as $3,500 on a fragrance. I have spent money on some fragrances, but I haven't gone into that deep into it.
What about you, Bernie? Are they expensive?
Yeah, they can be, but I realize that there's certain niche companies where, like, E was saying, you can get something for like 100, 150, and it's not as expensive. But I've seen some ranges that I'm like, how in the hell can someone pay four figures, for a bottle? You know what I mean? But they vary, and it really depends on what you get. Because with your brand that you like to get, G, those joints ain't cheap. You know what I'm saying? Then it's something that you can catch at discounters or whatever for a reasonable price. So it varies. Depends on which ones you're going after.
Well, are they expensive designer fragrances? And for those that don't know, designer fragrances are companies that make more than just fragrances. They may make, like Tom Ford may make shoes, may make fragrances. Louis Vuitton's another one. Are those fragrances sometimes just expensive as niche fragrances?
Yeah, I mean, you have some like most notably um most notably oh, wow, why the name escapes me while we're live. Um uh Louis Vuitton, right? Their fragrances rank up there with with niche, as opposed to the price point, right? So most of those are probably the lowest that you'll find is somewhere along the $300 range, right? Um, Christian Dior has a Privé line where their prices are up. Same with quite a few other designers. So yeah, you do have designers that make a luxury line separate from their regular line that the prices do tend to go up.
Okay. What you think, Bernie?
Yeah, like your man Tom Ford, man, he be hitting people in the head, bro. I
Mhm.
mean, Tom Ford don't play around, and LV, has a tendency to keep their fragrances up too.
Hmm.
And some will even try to argue and say, "Where those are niche fragrances too, based off the price." But just like you were saying, they dabble in a whole lot of other areas outside of that. And I
Hmm.
think that Tom Ford did an interview explaining why they set the price range the way that they did in relation to try to make it seem like it's actually niche, even though it's under the designer realm. So
Well,
yeah,
could
some of those designs up there that's high.
that price range be set to hit a certain kind of a type of client base? Because it's not every day that not everybody goes out and spends $400 on a bottle of fragrances.
I mean, this could be. I mean, a lot of people are paying for the exclusivity, and I
Mm-hmm.
do want to take a moment now to thank our subscribers for listening and watching us today. And we also have a question right now. Living my life accordingly asks, do we basically feel that you're paying for the brand? And I think that goes to the question that Leonard was asking, is
Mm-hmm.
that yeah, sometimes you're paying for that, to wear that brand name, and you're paying for the exclusivity,
Mm-hmm.
to have that. And sometimes when you are reaching a certain price point, and especially with Louis Vuitton, because you can't find Louis Vuitton on discounters, right? And so,
No.
right, but Tom
Well,
Ford,
they sell those in house, man. So
right,
you're not
yeah,
going.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and right, and and yeah, I just lost my train of thought that quick. But yeah, Tom Ford you can find on discounters, but Louis Vuitton you can't find on discounters. So yeah, you paying for that exclusivity to be able to do it, and sometimes most of the time you just paying just to say you got a Louis Vuitton or Tom Ford.
Okay.
It kind of like
Well, go ahead,
well, go
B.
ahead, go ahead. It's
No, no,
kind of
go
like
ahead.
with D. Remember when D was saying when we interviewed him when he was setting his price range, he was saying if I put my price at this number, then they'd think one thing, so I at least had to set it at this price. I think what those companies do because they have such a high reputation, high end designer, they set that price on purpose in order to distinguish who wears it, and at the same time they kind of try to promote like this is high quality, this is the best of the best. So this is the reason why we're putting that price tag on it. If Louis Vuitton put $100 price tag on a cologne, people probably won't even get it. But by them putting it at 600 or 700 or 500, oh, I got to get that. I got to get that because not that many people gonna be having it on. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but it's
Well,
also
I think that falls in line with the products that they produce because
True.
you Louis Vuitton shoes, I mean anything Louis Vuitton, a wallet is high dollar anyway. So for
Mm-hmm.
them to come out with $100 fragrance, man, people wouldn't even take it
Yeah,
seriously.
well, I
yeah.
mean, it's levels to it. I mean, do you take a
Mm-hmm.
Gucci cologne seriously? Because you can find
That's
Gucci.
a good point.
Right,
That's a
you
good point.
can find Gucci at a moderate price range. Now they do have an exclusive line that
Mhm.
is up there, but the regular Gucci fragrances are just like a Christian D. I
Right.
mean, a regular Christian Dior, a regular Calvin Klein or something like that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
guess
because
it depends on the brand. Yeah, because Prada
Hmm.
does the same thing. All of them do that.
mm-hmm.
If
Hmm.
you look at it, but Louis Vuitton, I don't think Louis Vuitton is sold on the mass market. Everything you buy in the store,
You
they're
got to get
not,
from them.
and certain exclusive stores you can, you just can't go in, Macy's and pick up a Louis Vuitton bag. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that they make sure that their products are exclusively sold at certain areas to make sure that they maintain that certain level of distinction that this is a quality high-end product. Now, let me ask you a
Mhm.
question on the niche fragrances. Um, can you tell the difference between a niche and a designer?
Um, I mean, it varies from fragrance to fragrance. A and that's not to say that one is better than the other. A
No, no,
lot
no.
of
We're not
niche
saying that.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
No.
one of the distinctions is that niche fragrances tend to use more pure, more authentic products than designer fragrances, and you can find that in the smell. You don't get the synthetic smell with a lot of niche. Now, that's not to say it's across the board. You will run across some niche that does have that alcohol synthetic smell, but for the most part, when you spray in the niche fragrance, um, it's more pure. You get more of the ingredients more of the ingredients that you look up on the fragrance. It's more pure, it's more distinct, and you can pretty much tell that. You can tell the difference between the tobacco in Dolce and Gabbana's is it only, only
I
you?
can't help you on that one.
Is it only Doji Gabbana's light blue? You can tell that that's pretty much synthetic, right? As opposed to if I'm going with another a niche blue fragrance that don't smell alike, but as opposed to if you're looking at Creed's
Careful now. Careful.
if you're looking at Creed's Aventus, when you spray them, they smell nothing alike, but you can tell that they use pure ingredients.
Okay. Um,
With me, I think with me, I noticed that with designer, they go more to a more mass appealing audience, which makes sense, to make money. With niche, they'll look at an area and say, we're gonna go here. We're gonna make this tobacco black licorice. Or like remember we was talking about what was the one with the raccoon and the deer musk and all this other crap. When niche companies make a decision, they going here. And when you smell it, especially with the concentration and the type of ingredients like Eric said, it's a distinct difference between the two. Um,
Mhm.
I wouldn't say I prefer niche over designer, but I know that if I was a designer company, I'm most definitely going to make a fragrance that's more mass appealing because I'm in the business of trying to make that money. Whereas the people who make niche, they only want to make it for specific people, those aficionados, those ones who really big on fragrances. And once they put their eyes in the direction they want to go, that's the direction that they go. Just
Well,
like when we had the little Middle Eastern run, they have this distinct way with their fragrance that don't smell anything like any of the stuff that you can buy from, like, a designer fragrance.
I mean, and it also goes to the type of fragrance wearers. There are different type of fragrance
Hmm.
wearers,
Hmm.
right? You got fragrance wearers that are primarily into it to smell good for others, right? And
Hmm.
you have
Yeah.
fragrance
Right.
wearers that want to experience the actual fragrance, right? And
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
that's another market that niche has conquered. They're looking for people that
Yeah.
likes to go through, take that wants their fragrance to take them through a journey, right?
Hmm.
And those fragrances, for most part, are not mass appealing. Everyone is not going to love those. I mean, and you can put on anything, and somebody's going to tell you that you smell good. But the fact is that it's going to smell good to. Is everybody going to say that it smells good, or only a few? Right? A lot of stuff, a lot of things just don't smell good to everybody.
and that's
Hmm.
true. How do you get to the point or did you and I'll ask this question first. Did you start out with designers versus to start out with niche? And if you have appreciation for niche, how did you get to that point?
You ever heard that saying, once you go black, you never go back?
Because I mean, it's at some point
Right.
you have to have your mind made up that I'm
Exactly.
going to spend over 150 $200 a bottle for a fragrance when I've been going to Berlin Co factory getting 10.99 bottle and so that's what I'm asking. How do you
Mhm.
get to that point to where you you can start distinguishing that you want to pay a certain amount for fragrances? Because in the end, what you're trying to do is smell good. So my question is, how do you get to a point to where you can go from spending 9.99 for a bottle to spending 300 and plus for a bottle of fragrance?
Well, I mean, I ain't never spent 9.99 for no bottle, but
Well, I mean, there's some
right,
people that do,
right, but
and
I,
they may
I
say the
get what you're
9.99
saying.
when,
I get
yeah,
what you're saying, but okay. So I guess for me, and I know for a lot of us, is actually just being around people that actually have that have done it. It's like for me, it was like once got into and started listening to fragrance reviewers and listening to because at first, yes, I was strictly a designer head, and when I got into fragcom and I started looking, I just one day just decided to start looking online to see if if I was missing out on something as far as fragrances was concerned. I had heard everybody talking about Creed and this, that, and the other. And yeah, when I heard it was $400, it scared me away. The thought of paying $400 for a fragrance was nothing that I was interested in doing. Right. And at that point, I thought it was just Creed until I started listening to, fragrance reviewers and they brought those out and this, that, and the other. And the one thing that they also taught me was to actually find a deal. And once when I found a deal, like on my first Aventus and this, that, and the other, the first Aventus, and I think from there I went to a Privé Christian Dior, something of that nature. Once I started and I think it was a Christian Dior for me more so than Aventus, but once I started smelling that and going from there, and I think once it was my first Zerzov, I was hooked.
you
I
were
was
on.
not going back.
Yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I was not coming back. Mhm.
So you had your sense of smell and your nose had to be somewhat more mature to
No,
appreciate the things that you were smelling, the differences.
no. Yeah, I mean, at first to me, it was just I wanted something. Uh, to me, at first, and I'm being honest, to me at first, it was, oh, because it costs so much that it must be something that's amazing, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so, and I'm like, oh, I got to get it because I want some of the best, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so, I got it, and once you get it and you start to smell it, that's when you start to learn to appreciate it. Once you start to experience it, because I mean, YSLY is not going to take you through a journey. It smells like it smells, right? But once you throw on a 40 knots and you see that thing start off one way and then end up another, you're
Yeah.
like, okay, okay, I'm with this now, right?
Well,
And so,
let me ask you a question, Bernie.
mhm,
Eric mentioned buying, splurging, and go ahead and buying that fragrance, his first fragrance, because he'd heard different things about it. Let
mhm.
me ask you a question, Bernie. People that do that splurge and they buy something they don't routinely buy and pay a price for a certain product, are they sometimes disappointed because they think that I spent X amount of dollars on a fragrance and it's supposed to be the best of the best and I get nothing from it,
No,
it's a
no,
waste of
no.
time? You don't think that they get sometimes disappointed by and not understand what the fragrance means, have certain
I think
expectations of it?
I think what happened is like when you have designer and then like I've seen a few guys say like they bought a Venice or whatever the case may be, and they all hyped up and they thinking that it's gonna just knock them out of the park, knock them out their socks. And when they get it, they're like, what's
It
the
do
hype
nothing.
about it? And
Yeah.
then as time go on, like you said, the nose get more mature. They're like, oh, just like Eric said, it start one way and then it wind up going here. Like, oh, it's levels to this shit. Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Now I see why, everyone is crazy about this fragrance. So it's kind of like it's a stage where, because a lot of guys, you would see them on the boards complaining, oh, this is trash, or this, that, and the third. And you would hear a veteran say, wear it a little bit more, and give it a chance. The next thing you know, and that is the scent of the day. They posing in their suits and stuff like that, and they fall in love with it. So it hits different. Just like Eric said, like a designer, after the opening, all right, it ain't gonna change that much. But some of these joints that I got that y'all turned me on to, and some of the things I have, yeah, it be smelling ginger. And the next thing you know, it's leather on the back end. It's like, how in the hell did they do that? And that's the thing that
Mhm.
I love about Niche. And it
Mhm.
makes me really respect the perfumers to sit there and have that much time and that talent to be able to move the scent to do that in those different stages. I mean, it's amazing, man.
Well, let me ask you this, man. What I've seen, my experience, I've seen people go out and get samples of a fragrance, and they'll spray that sample,
I was
and
going
they'll
to bring
come
that
back
up.
and they'll say it doesn't
Mm-hmm.
mean anything to them. It's overrated. Does it make a
Mm-hmm.
difference, Bernie, if you have a sample and you wear it versus having a full bottle?
We had a discussion about that in the private chat. How you may get a sample, and then when you get the full bottle, it smells different. So a lot of times you don't know how old the sample is versus the one that you got from the factory.
Good
And
point.
the other thing is the atomizers. Remember, you were saying that sometimes the atomizer that's on the sampler does something to the molecules different than the atomizer that they have on the actual bottle. Because remember, I think we had a discussion about that like 2 or 3 months ago.
Mhm.
Because we was trying to figure out how did it happen where you have a decan or a sample and how it varies so much from the actual bottle. So a lot
And
of it had to do with how old it is and then how it's being administered out of the container.
now I don't know how true that is, but what deters me from getting now, if it's a sample from the store, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's one thing. But when you're talking about places like Scent Split and this, that, and the other that does these little decants, it's also depends on how they disperse in those descants. Is it all fragrance? Are they adding their own little piece of alcohol to it? All of that, right? And another thing that I've heard, because you got those samplers where people are just uh putting the
Shaking it
little
up.
no putting a little a decanter thing on top of the actual fragrance bottle and
Oh
spraying
yeah,
it
the
into the
pump,
thing.
kind of like the pump.
Right.
Yeah.
I've heard that you're actually spraying out the top note when you're doing that because you're dispensing it, right? And so, how true that is, I have no idea. Because I mean, I do have decants that I still have a lot of decants that I don't have full bottles of, so I don't know if I'm actually getting the full fragrance of or not. So it's relevant. When folks say, "Okay, well, it smells different from when it is when you actually get a bottle."
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We Eric, can you see the chat, man? We acknowledge everybody. Any questions in the
Yeah, I
chat?
see that. We got Wayne Jackson. Thanks for watching, my brother. He just made a comment stating that he's definitely a designer head and he's slowly creeping into niche. And for him, it's all about finding a unique fragrance. He's found out that the niche fragrance is harder to sample and smell at the store. Now,
True.
and I agree with him because
Mm-hmm.
especially, and it all depends on the market that you live in. Because I live in Colorado, we got one Neiman Marcus, we don't have a Saks, right? And then our Neiman Marcus is limited. We don't have Xerjoff, we don't have Nichene, we don't have Boadicea Victorious, right? So a lot of those it's harder to sample and find and be able to smell and say, okay, well, I like this before I buy it, right? And so now in bigger markets now, and everybody know I'm originally from Detroit, I go home, they have all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you do have those options to be able to smell and experience those
Sample.
fragrances and decide whether or not you want to get them or not.
Yeah, your boy Dre say expensive is the way to go.
Anyone joining us for the first time, Dre is our fourth member.
Mhm.
He must be having signal issues. Is the reason why he's there in the chat. We want to say hey to Pimp Mari. Thanks for joining us. Living our life accordingly, which I found out was Tasha. Thanks for joining us, Tasha. You've always been one of our best supporters. Denisha is with us. Hey, Denisha,
Hey,
thanks for
Denisha.
joining us. We appreciate you for coming out. And Terrence King Nose Johnson, what's good, my brother? Thanks for coming and holler at us.
Okay. When is enough enough? And what I mean by that,
Mhm.
niche fragrances can be costly. And Eric, you got over 100 something fragrances, and I think a lot of times you find that even though the different brands, different companies, they become redundant. You buy something that smells like something else, even though it's a niche fragrance. They're niche fragrances. What's the breaking point on that to where when you smell something that you can identify it smells like something else that you may already have? I mean, how do you get to that point?
The notes don't help because you think that you do. You
Right.
think the notes would help. You would look and you would say that you would think that okay, well these notes, this, that, and the other, then it probably smells like this, so I'm gonna stay away from it. Right. The thing is that throughout Fragcom, what we depend on is a trusted nose and word of mouth. Right. And so
Mhm.
Okay, so when you say trusted nose, explain that. What does that mean
someone that
in layman's
someone
terms?
someone whose knows someone that has the same well, not necessarily the same fragrance palette as you, but has the same knowledge about fragrances and that can lure you, can steer you in the right direction, right? And so steer you in the right direction. So if like with us, we all don't have the same type of fragrance taste, right? But I can trust your guys' judgment when it comes to what a fragrance smells like, right? And so if something comes up and we be like, okay, I'm not leery, I want it, I'm interested in it, and I don't have a revenue to sample it right now. Does it smell like anything else that I might already have? So if it reminds you of something that I've already have, then I'm like, okay, then I don't need it, especially if I can't sample it, right? And so and with you guys, I've come to trust y'all noses when it comes to stuff like that. Now, when someone that
Well,
is
let me
some,
jump in real quick, Eric.
mm-hmm,
And I'll say this. You know I'm exclusive towards certain brands, and I think
mm-hmm,
Bernie's one and the same, and I think you have a variation of different ones. You have one or two that you may favor, but you're pretty much versatile.
mm-hmm,
Uh, I think with me, if I have a question about a certain brand, and say for example it's PDMs, I'm gonna holler at Bernie because I know he knows about PDMs. If I want to talk about Rosia Doves or Rosias, I'm gonna holler at Andre. But if I want to talk about certain fragrances that are just all over, then
mm-hmm.
I'm gonna holler at you. And I trust your judgment. And Anton's another one. Antoine's another one that's very knowledgeable in fragrances. That we have those resources. So I think it's a good thing to establish those type of connections. Wouldn't you say, Bernie, to where you can have a nose to go to that you can trust and have a little
Absolutely,
experience in that
man.
area?
Because like the last 50 purchases were blind buys for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more like, he would say, hey, that 40 knots is dope. I'm on that,
Man, you sound like Andre. You talking about last 50 purchase.
Now I'm talking about the last 50 bottles I got. They were just blind
Right.
buys.
Yeah,
Going
you sound
by,
like Andre on that one.
no, Dre do that weekly. Yeah, he do that weekly, 50 bottles a week. But
Yeah.
like what I really like about Dre is that even though Dre's younger, his nose is so mature and
Yeah.
it branched across a wide range of fragrances. and he gets like right to a particular thing. And like with E can tell you how it's going to
Breaks
break
it
down and
down,
how it
man.
moves, and is it fit for similar to something else. You know what I'm saying? And like
It's kind of like he studies the fragrance, man, to the T.
yeah, that's when we was obviously calling him the professor or something, right? It
Yeah,
was
he
some
talking about it,
nickname we was
not
about to
me.
call. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
when you have a trusted nose, that was the thing. Like I stopped listening to the reviewers and I started listening
Right.
to us. Even when before we came together as the Illuminati, it'd be like, yeah, B, that's a good pick, or yeah, I got that, this, that, and the third. And that's huge because when you're making that type of investment on a niche fragrance and you spend 500 or 600, man, you be hot as hell. It smell like some garbage. you
Right.
be out here smelling like
Right.
dumpster juice. You know, dumpster juice behind the joint. But yeah, it's good when you can get those people that you can trust their nose.
Oh yeah. Well,
It's valuable, man.
the
You know,
thing.
one thing not cutting you off, and another thing, not a person who's going to tell you what you want to hear, but tell you the truth. That's huge. You know, the
Oh
listeners
yeah.
is like, you have some people like, yeah, so no, like if it's trash, like Rock, like it's trash. So Dre be like, man, nah, whatever. You know, it's good
He'll
to
say his
have that
nose is
person.
broke.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know,
those Dre
You
put you on
you're on
probation in a minute
probation.
if you don't
Yeah,
like
he said you're on probation.
it. Right.
Yeah. You gotta have
But
those people who can tell you like it is and not just shoe shine it or whatever.
but what I love, what I admire about Dre is that he's fearless when it comes to a fragrance, right?
Yeah, he
Especially
is.
when it comes to a niche fragrance and he wants to try it and this, that, and the other. He's fearless. He don't need to smell it, this, that, and the other. You tell him the scent profile, and he'll go for it. Because one thing that Dre has done is mastered the game as far as either getting it on discount and being able to get rid of something that he don't want, right? And so right. So he's fearless when it comes to, okay, I'm gonna give it a shot. Shoot it to me, you know. And so shoot it to me. So but he's right on when it tells you, well, okay, it's a good fragrance, it's bomb, or if it's trash. But he won't let up on you if you think a good fragrance is not so good. So
You
right.
sound you sound like you know firsthand, Eric.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. He didn't try to put me and Antoine in probation a couple of times. I'm like, nah.
But
This
I've
ain't
been
it,
pretty
bro. This ain't it. This ain't
I've been
working.
pretty I've been pretty safe because I I teetal on one or two different brands, so I've been safe, so he ain't had to hit me yet, so I'm
Right.
good.
Mhm. Mhm.
If Bernie's been safe, Eric, he just been getting an analytical guy, man. That's what that is.
Right.
Nah, it's like the group and the people we know
Mhm.
and those boards helped save a lot of money.
Mhm.
Cause
Oh
it
yeah.
was some stuff I was looking at. And then somebody said, no, you don't want to get in that business. You know, go look at this. And I'm like, all right, cool. It saved
Mhm.
me a lot of money. A lot of money.
Let,
Oh
That's why
let
I
me
said
ask
it's
you
a
this
huge.
question, man. I know this
Mm-hmm,
this is what we're doing, kind of like a talk show on fragrances. How
mm-hmm.
helpful could our program be to people that are out there in the fragrance community that don't really know? How resourceful can we be to them? That's just a question.
Shit.
I
Because
mean,
I know Eric, I know. Well, I'm just throwing it out.
You gonna
well,
do it first, or you
Reviewers,
want me to say it? E?
huh? You
You gonna do it first, or
go
me?
ahead and say it, Bernie.
I'm like, shoot, even
Man,
outside of this show.
shit. I mean, it's helpful as hell when you have people who have that much knowledge to win across that many brands. I mean, it's extremely helpful. Ever since we came together, I just said it not too long ago. Save so much money, and it really helped me appreciate my journey with fragrances. I'm telling you, bro. I mean, that's if this is another kind of show where I use another example. It's nothing worse buying a bottle and you can put all that money in and it's trash. So when you have the Frag Illuminati, you have a wide range of people from different areas, different ages, different noses. But one thing that's on point, our collections is like that. You know, we ain't got no trash, and we're giving it to you straight from the heart because we want you to enjoy the fragrance too. You know, we want you to invest your money to get the fragrance that you want. We don't want you to go out there and have a bad experience. We want you to enjoy it just like we do. We could talk almost
Oh,
4 or 5 hours in chat about fragrances, man.
oh, ain't
You
no
know, so
doubt.
the show
Well,
really helps a lot. And then we're not compromised where we're going to sit there and say that this is a bomb because we're getting a kickback from it. You know, we just
that's what
giving
I
you the
was getting.
100.
That's where I was getting ready to go with it, Bernie. That's
Mhm.
exactly where I was getting ready to lead it into. Because reviewers, what's the difference between us and reviewers?
I mean, we're not getting paid for it, but at the
Mm,
same time, it's like because I have reviewed a couple of fragrances, but I reviewed them amongst us, right?
Mhm.
So I guess it's safe to say that I don't consider myself a fragrance reviewer, but yeah, they are to the point where and most of them won't admit it, you know, that
mm,
they're allowed to, you know, sugarcoat how a fragrance is, which fragrances are subjective. Even if you don't like it, somebody else will. So,
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, so it's even you. It's hard to say if a fragrance reviewer is lying on a fragrance or not. You know, now one way to find out is by their reactions when they see the review, and they be like, they don't seem as excited when they're talking about it. Or if you know later on, it don't make none of their top 10 lists, right? So you know at that point they was just talking, they was just kicking some crap about that particular fragrance. I've been burnt by fragrance reviewers before. So when it came to that type of stuff, you know, and stuff that
Have
they
you, Bernie? Have you, Bernie?
Hell no, man. I was like, what burnt me up, man.
hmm
I've sitting and watched about 4 episodes. It's nothing you don't like. I mean,
hmm
it's nothing that you came across that you don't like. Everything they make. Oh nah, bro. I'm through. I'm through. I like the ones who are honest that can say, hey, no, this is not good, or they can move it in another direction. This is more mature. This is more this is more that. And like E said, you can kind of read between the lines,
hmm
understand what they're saying. But man, no, I've seen some people, the reviewers say something was dope, and then you go on the boards, man, they killing it. Man, this joint is trash. And you go to the marketplace, you see they trying to panhandle it for almost half off. Trying, you know, trying to get rid of it.
We say they
So
be
no,
selling you a fragrance and washing half your windshield at the same time.
oh yeah, you know, I throw this one in too. I'm like, oh, that must be some trash. You got to throw another bottle with it in order to try to get rid of it. But
living my life
uh,
accordingly said they be selling hopes and dreams.
yeah, you lying, man.
Right.
But no, Lenny, I think that the Frag Illuminati is like I was saying to you, you know, whenever you're doing a show, you need to be of service to somebody. And you know, we're the service of the whole Frag community. We're giving you an honest opinion. We walked it all the way from the beginning all the way up. And I think that if anybody is interested in getting into it serious, you can save a lot of money and really, really, really enjoy the experience, you know, with fragrances if you tune in to us. I
Yeah,
mean,
and
even if I
another
wasn't with the group, I would most definitely tune in every Sunday. You know what I'm
and
saying?
the,
Because I know I'm getting this to 100.
and the thing about it is that we've helped a lot of people, or
Mm-hmm.
we've steered people in a lot of directions. Folks have
Mm-hmm.
sent there's been a numerous amount of people that have sent fragrances to Dre to be like, hey,
Mm-hmm.
test this out, let me know what's going on. Now you
Mm-hmm.
know which ones that have made the cut because Dre didn't put them out there and said,
Yeah.
hey, this is bomb, this is fire. And then you got
Yeah.
stuff that folks have sent Dre that you ain't heard nothing else about, right? And so right, so right, so it's that you know, it's that type of party right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also instances where we would push your fragrances because hell, in the last month or so, I didn't have 4 or 5 people then bought 40 knots just because I said it's great. You know what I'm saying? And then
Well, I
it's
didn't.
right. Well, you know, um,
That ain't
right,
my brand, though. You know.
right, yeah. But you know, you got a lot of people that follow whatever Dre says that's why
Oh
that's
yeah,
bomb.
man.
So
Yeah.
we have acquired some type of influence in this, right? So mm,
Let me ask you a question, man.
mhm.
We talk about our little attributes and all that. Do you all know it all? I mean, we've got a vast amount of experience and all that, but Do y'all know everything about fragrances? Fragrances there is to know.
We're the
I'm gonna tell you, I
Transformers,
don't.
bro.
I
I
don't.
mean, not
I'm a
Transform. What's the name of that show where all of the
transition.
little pieces come together in one big machine or whatever? Is it Voltron or whatever? That's the way. That's
Transformers.
where. Yeah, I thought it was Transformers, but I think it's Voltron where they all come together and they make this big robot. To me, each person has a corner, and together, that's what make the whole unit. And then whatever we don't know, like one person don't know, the other one know. Like
Right.
Ant would come in and say something, but Dre would say something, Eric would say something, and then Lenny, I think together we're great because all of the stuff that we know together. But no, we don't know everything, and with all of these different fragrances, it's hard too. They
Yeah,
dropping
and
so
I
many.
think that the other thing is we have other resources out there available to us.
That's true too. Yeah,
There's
yeah,
really deep into the game that we can
yeah.
we can dial up a number, hit
Mhm.
a chat and get information way across the other side of the world on
Mm-hmm.
fragrances. So that's the positive of it. Dre say he bought 40 knots, man. I don't know believe Dre or not, man. Dre.
Oh yeah, he displayed it
Yeah.
yesterday. He bought it.
Did he get it?
Yep, he displayed it yesterday.
Okay, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tasha
Yep.
talking about she was talking about the Power Rangers,
She. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and then
Come together. Yeah, come together, man. It's just wild. I mean, but from the original question you said, it's a lot that they can gain from it. And no, we don't know everything, nor did we ever display that. We're guys just like everyone else, but we just have this the connection, like you said, and the information that we had. Instead of us just staying together, we giving it out. And whenever someone DM us or asks us a question or add us, we never ignore them. We want to make sure that they get the information they need. Each one
yeah,
teach one. That's the same way how I came up.
yeah. Me too. Me
Yeah,
too.
that's how I came up.
Now back to what we was talking about
Uh-oh.
with niches. Wayne had brought up a point. I just want to make sure that his point was brought up. He said that he lives in Orlando and he can find they do have niches readily available, but the stores won't allow them to sample give them to smell those bottles there for $300 to $500, which I feel is stupid.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah,
would you?
we don't have that problem, man, in
Right.
Dallas.
Why would you have those bottles available but won't allow nobody to at least smell it to see if there's something that they want? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's dumb, to be honest with you.
I don't know. I
Especially
don't
when,
know what's going on in that area, man. But
right.
we don't have that problem in Dallas, man. Even the expensive ones,
Mm-hmm.
if they have it in stock, and that there's a store in Dallas, man, that specializes in nothing but niche fragrances,
Right.
and you can go in and every bottle that they stock, they have on the shelf for you to sample. So you can spray it on a tester, you can spray it on a card, spray it on yourself, and try
Mm-hmm.
any of them that they have in the store. I never asked to get a sample to take home, but normally when I go in, I'll smell it. If I like it, I'll write it on the thing to explore a little bit more, or possibly to consider it later on down the road. But when I go to other stores like Neiman's and Saks, they'll give me samples, and I don't care what it is, they'll give it to me.
Now
So
see
especially
you
if you
all
can talk the lingo, when you talk the lingo and they get a clear understanding. Because Rock, you know this. You go to a fragrance counter, and they're trying to tell you about this stuff that you know more about than they know
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Once they realize you know what you're talking about, then they say, "Oh, the light's on. He's able to buy. He knows he's gonna appreciate it. So
mm-hmm.
let me give him a sample of take. They'll give you X amount of samples at that point because they know you're accustomed wearing that type of fragrance."
Well, you just taught me something too, because because there's several times that I've been into a store and smelled something, and then most of the time it's Tom Ford's when it happens, because Tom Ford comes up with these crazy names for their fragrances, but I've been to smell something at Nordstrom's for Tom Ford or something like that, and by the time I done got home, I done forgot the name of it. Right, so you
Yeah,
seen it, you
I'll
can
write it
wrote it
down.
down or took a
Mhm.
picture of it and this, that, and the other. That's something new. I need to start doing that.
I
Yeah, because
can't
I
do
mean,
that. If I spray it, I'm wind up getting it. I don't have that kind of willpower. Once I smell it, if I like it, I'm getting it.
Mm.
Shoot, I ain't
that's
got
how you
that
got stuck on
willpower,
that
man.
oud, man.
Indeed. That ooh. I went up
Now,
in that store, man, went crazy, man.
okay, well, let's on the topic though. When we're talking about when we're talking about I'm sorry, not ooze, but talking about niche fragrances, the thing that some things that make niche fragrances to the point where a lot of people steer away from are some of the notes that are used in them that make them a little bit unique. We brought up oud. Another one is castoreum. Another one is savat. This, that, and the other, right? So
Mhm.
the notes in those make those type of fragrances a little bit less mass appealing to the point where folks are starting that folks will walk away from them. Are there any notes in niche fragrances that you guys have that you experience that you either look for or run away from?
Well, with me, I'm not going to say, I think before I became real developed in fragrances, if I heard something like cat piss or whatever that term that they use, all this, they have all these different musk, something musk and all. I would have, man, I don't want none of that, man. But
Mhm.
now I understand that whatever's in a fragrance, the way they blend it is what makes the difference.
Mhm.
Because like with Savat, you listen to Savat, well, Savat is not really an object. It's more of an accord. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
you think that, okay, well, this smell like cat piss. I don't want nothing like this. Spend $300-400 or something like that, and it smell like cat piss. I can go to you know somebody got cats and go to their house and roll around in a little sandbox or whatever. But I think with anything, same thing with oud. It's a misnomer with oud that automatically, if it contains oud, it's going to be strong. And we've come
Mhm.
to realize and found out that that's not the case.
Mhm.
What makes a difference with a fragrance is how well it's blended and where it is in that fragrance as far as when it's supposed to come to light. For example, if you're not going to smell oud until it dry down, then you may not even know it's there until it dry down. So
Mhm.
I don't have any that I'm really afraid of. Um, so I can't say that there is, knowing what I know about that.
It's hard for me to mess with Savat, man. I ain't gonna even lie. But I know it's hard because I think that's one of the fragrances. I mean, that's one of the notes that have caused me not to like some fragrances that Dre wants to put me in probation over. But right, because that Diaghilev is a $1,200 bottle of fragrances, and
Mhm.
into my nose, that Savat is strong. And I'm like, no, I can't do it. And a lot of fragrance reviewers swear by it. They love it. It's one of the ones that they push hard. They push hard. They love it. And it's one of those ones that people buy it because of the price point. They want to feel like they're smelling exclusive. And in my nose, I'm like, you're smelling like cat piss. So you're smelling
Mhm.
exclusive. So
Well, that's exclusive. Yeah, that's exclusive.
Yeah,
right.
exclusively pissy.
Right.
Well, what about I've got a Lictimus London. I've got black caviar.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And to me, some people would say it smells like fish water or something like that.
Hmm.
But it's got a salty smell to it somewhat. But I like
Mhm.
it, man. So, you know, who would think of using caviar, the scent caviar in a fragrance?
Right.
I mean, that's
I mean,
edgy at best.
they do have some extremes. There are some fragrances that smell like secretions, right? And
Oh
so
yeah, yeah, yeah.
right. So yeah, they do. I mean, and that's the thing about niche perfumery. It does challenge you, right?
yeah, yeah.
So it's not for anybody that wants to go to the club and just wants to smell good, right? If you're going to dive into niche, you're going to have to want to feel challenged, right?
Yeah,
But
well,
but people don't be scared because it's some of these like one of the favorite from the Frag Illuminati is Richwood, right?
Oh yeah,
And and it's like
Savat is in
everyone who
Richmond.
smell No, I'm just saying. No, I'm talking about Zerjoff, the Richwood. You know,
Oh,
the
okay.
Rosewood. What is it? Richwood, Rosewood,
I
or
think it's Richwood. Isn't it
Richwood?
Well,
Richwood?
yeah, I
Yeah,
have
because Dre.
Richwood. I don't smell
Yeah, I'm
Savage.
just saying, like, that's a niche fragrance, and sometimes
Mhm.
people would think, well, I'm scared now. No, it's some niche out there that can move a room now. It
Oh
ain't
yeah.
bad. It's just that they're just warning you that certain accords and certain notes, these companies they're gonna push the envelope, and you really need to get your nose on it first if you can before you make that purchase.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You have some niche that you walk in a room and you're gonna smell like $1,000,000 and somebody gonna be like, who is
Mhm.
that? Right. And
No
then
doubt.
you right, and then as soon as you tell them that, and I don't do this. I know a lot of people because I don't count anybody else's pockets. And a lot of people, when they just say, okay, well, this is that, then they'll immediately say, okay, but if you can't, they'll immediately say, but get this one because it smells just like it, but it's cheaper, right? And I
Mhm.
don't do that. I mean, like if I'm going to tell you what I'm wearing, I'm going to tell you what I'm wearing, and then I'm not going to tell you how much it costs. You figure that out on your own. But
It's funny because they whip their phone out right then and there, and
right,
their eyes get this big, like, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you
You better
figure that
get in
out on
that
your
pocket.
own. But you got
Yeah,
some people that are wear tuxedo and be like, okay, well, which is not a niche fragrance, by the way.
yeah.
Um, they'll wear tuxedo, but and then right around they'll go ahead and say, okay, well, you can go ahead and get mustache for $50, right? And so it smells just like it. So I'm not one of those.
Hey, Eric, can you
Mhm.
can you post? Can you pull the chats up on Dre's
Yeah, it look
comments?
like somebody,
Dre
two
trying
people
to
made
he
a
trying
comment.
to hey man, Dre trying to correct me through the chat, man.
Look at him.
And Natasha said that she normally buys decants to the waste of full money on bottles to save money.
hmm
Now the one he said before that, he said black caviar. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
oceanic.
That's it right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the
Yeah,
one I brought. Oh,
he's correcting me when I said it
hmm
sounds aquatic
hmm
and salted. See, he corrected me through the chat, man. That's Dre. That's your boy. Y'all get him?
Over there showing off.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
aquatic.
Flying,
It's aquatic, bro.
aquatic. Yeah, aquatic.
Mm-hmm.
So what,
There's
Dre? See, this is what I'm talking about with Dre. He's ready to give up on Richwood already because he got Via Cavour. Is it that good, Dre?
Look at him.
Is it that good? Yeah,
Who is
but
Viva Core made by?
it's Zerzov. He just bought that one. He
Okay,
just got that one in yesterday. He's supposed to be sending me a sample of it. We'll see if it happens. But
okay.
he's telling me it's getting Richwood out of here. And this is after we didn't spend when he was about to put me on probation about Richwood too, because I said it was too soft. Right. I said Richwood is kind of soft, and Richwood is expensive.
Yeah.
Is expensive. And so when I bought it now, and him and I don't get me wrong, I love the fragrance. It's a good fragrance, but it's just light. It's soft, right? And to me, and they saying that it's loud, that it'll fill up the room. And it may have been, I'm living in these mountains. I might be having a sinus issue, this, that, and the other. But to me, it was just soft. But it's a beautiful fragrance. Now he's ready to get rid of it.
I
Y'all
get
see
up.
that one?
Yeah, I get it off you, Dre. I get it up off you, bro.
It's
Ship
my
that.
son of the day, guys.
What is it?
Oh. Okay. That's the joint he showed in BFA.
Yeah,
Looking good over
can you
there,
see
son.
it?
Looking good. Have you took it out yet? You tried it out?
Oh man, I tried it when I first took it out of the
But
box. Man, it's heaven, bro.
he said it's the sin of the day. He
Shoot,
said it's
man,
the
it
sin of the day. Can you
that was
describe
worth.
it a little bit?
Yeah, beautiful.
I said, what's the note? I get back to you. What's the note?
Say, man, hey, Bert. I
He
think
says too
I
early in the
think
morning with that.
when I posted that, man,
Hmm.
was laughing at it because they're come on. What's the breakdown? Hell, I don't know, man. I knew it before I
He
bought it.
said,
After I
he's
got,
like, all I know is dope. And it's in the collection. And you can't get it. That's all you need to know.
man, once I put it down on that list and I check it out, put it on the list, goes on the list. I don't care about what it, because at that point, I made my
Oh, look at
mind up and
Dre.
I don't care.
Okay,
Dre trying to tip
Dr.
in and correct us
Dre.
again. What you
Gotta
say,
stop
meter
y'all from
man?
all the madness.
Huh?
Huh?
What'd you say?
Stopping all the madness.
Stop the
You talking
madness.
about that Richwood?
Right this moment. Oh yeah, Richwood ain't going nowhere, but Vehicle War got that out of here. I ain't gonna lie.
Damn.
Damn.
First round knockout,
I'd say put up a good fight. Put up a good fight,
huh?
but nah, we're not doing that.
You
It's,
tell Richwood, get off the
it's
ropes.
I
Get
might
off the
double up on
ropes.
that
Oh, damn.
one. Huh?
Damn. Okay. You really like it then. You talking about doubling up.
So you came, it came in on you like that Lomi came in on Eric, huh?
Oh, that
It's just,
Iommi
I'm
is
bringing up,
good. It is that that Tony Iommi is a bomb. Now, how is
You
it messing with the
got him
Tony
over there
Iommi?
stuttering, man. Got Eric over there stuttering.
Dre, how is it on that Tony Iommi?
Huh?
How is it messing with the Tony? That
Jesus Christ.
Cavour via caviar. Is that what it
You
is?
said Kavor? You and Kavor?
Yeah.
Is it?
You said how much up against Tony?
Right.
Yeah.
Does it match up against Tony Iommi?
I'm thinking it's getting Tony out of here.
Damn.
What?
Yeah.
Man, don't mess Eric up like that, man.
I'm thinking
Eric about to cry, man.
No, I ain't. It's all good.
Nah,
But
You looking
and
it up now.
you got via Cavour 1 or 2.
there's too much going on. I'm going back to the chat, guys.
He said
Well,
he asked it to me a question. Let me go back to the chat.
well, anybody that's listening, via Cavour is from the House of Xerjoff. It's an exclusive. It's a fragrance that's exclusive, I think, to Italy or France. This is what I wanted to ask Dre why he was online. I mean, why he was here, right?
Mhm.
And he was able to get his nose on it and bought it. It's fruity, powdery, amber, chocolate, oud, and warm, spicy.
Hold on, back up. What was the other one you said it was in there?
Musky, woody, caramel, chocolate, amber, powdery, fruity, and sweet.
No, you missed one. You said ooh. You said
Ooh,
ooh.
He
yeah,
said, "Ooh,
ooh,
yeah."
Oh.
right. You see,
Oh.
top notes
Burn
is
it.
quince and white peach. Middle
Oh.
notes is dark chocolate, red berries,
Oh.
Moroccan rose, and patchouli.
Come
Um,
on, man. They trying to kill somebody,
the
man. I see why he said that.
base notes is agarwood, caramel, Madagascan vanilla, amber,
Good God.
cashmere, and musk.
They
That
ain't
ought to be
playing, bro.
good, man. Yeah,
Right.
that ought to be
Yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm. Right. So yeah. It is something you got to check out, but again, I think it was exclusive to
Hey,
I'm not
man. Hey,
exclusive to Italy or something like that. So you may have to do some searching for it. Now,
hey,
Oh,
man.
okay.
They say it's on the list, man.
it's
You
on
read
the
the notes, you
list.
put it on the list.
Yeah.
And and we brought up Leonard's fragrance of the day. And so after the show, I'm gonna put the information on that fragrance underneath the chat as well. Right. So
Were
there's
you able to
folks.
find anything on it?
I don't know the name of it. You was all quiet about it, so we'll do all that later.
Okay,
Right.
yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I can put it out there now because they only made 3 of them, and they
Right.
don't even make them anymore, so they're hard to get.
Oh
Damn.
So
wow.
yeah, that's why I got it, man. I'm trying to go more to exclusive, other
Exclusive.
exclusive. Yeah,
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Okay,
Mm.
that's what's up. It's
What else
probably a
is in
good
the
time
chat, man?
to
Mm.
well,
Before we
Denisha
get
was
out.
saying that was that the fragrance that Dre brought up is on the list.
Right.
And other than that, everything else that we've talked about, we've actually covered for the most part.
Okay.
What's a Turin? Denisha said Turin Boutique exclusive.
Right. And I'm not sure. Denisha, can you tell us where that is located? And we can
I know
wait on.
Tasha likes the notes. She said she likes the notes.
Yeah, she said those are lovely. Um,
Mm-hmm.
right. Um, Another thing that we probably
Italy.
will, yeah. Mhm.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
Right.
We ain't that. Uh,
Mhm.
we're not there. We're not there yet, lady. I mean, we're still stateside.
Like I said, Dre can find them. Dre be finding them.
Yeah, drill find them. Yeah.
Right. But one
Eric,
thing,
Eric, hit the like and subscribe, bro.
okay, if anybody's interested in the content that we putting out, we might want to go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, and also follow us on Instagram at the Frag Illuminati. We do appreciate everybody that's coming out. We also want to share with y'all a little change in the format of what we're doing. We love putting out these live shows. And we love putting out these live shows. We love interacting with you live shows. But just like we like to smell our best and look our best and present ourselves the best, we also want to make sure that we're putting out the best content for you guys, right? So going forward, we are going to save the live shows for special events and special events or special guests or something of that nature. And going forward, we are going to we're not going anywhere. We're still coming at you every week, but we're going to start giving you pre-tape shows. So we still hope that you still follow us. We still hope that you um still listen. We're coming at you, but we just want to make sure that we're putting out the best content. We want to make sure that everybody's available to be with you on the content. And with those, if you have any questions that you have on those type of shows and events, we want to make sure that you're putting them in those contents. Make sure that we're still watching so we can continue to make the channel grow.
And also, they can make comments too once they watch the tape, and
Mhm.
we'll answer those comments
Mhm.
that are on YouTube and
Right.
get a response to you.
Okay. Mhm. Yep.
So we're gonna call it a day, I guess. Bernie, last words.
Just glad that we made it another year. And I really enjoyed this episode. It's good being back on the air again, man. That layoff was kind of rough.
It was. It was.
That
Sometimes
layoff.
I'm gonna be honest, sometimes I just be needing to holler at you, brothers. So just
We do
being
it every
Oh,
day,
yeah.
man. To be
right,
honest,
but yeah, but this is different. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
This is different.
yeah,
So
Sephora, man.
right, yeah, so right. But
Last words, Eric.
nah, that was it. That's all I got. We just tune in. We are gonna be doing a little bit more stuff and along with our shows. So once we get it together and perfect it the way we want to, we're gonna be out here. But continue to follow us.
And I'll tell the audience what we're probably gonna do. We have unique fragrances in the group. Each of us we have some fragrances that are rare. And what we'll probably be doing a overview of, say, for example, the one I posted today. I'll probably be going back on and doing an exclusive review on this particular fragrance, non-biased, my opinion solely, and it'll also be on the Frag Illuminati channel. So Dre has unique fragrances, Eric, Bernie, all of us have unique fragrances that are not um, out there to everybody. And so we're going to be providing our insight on those fragrances through our Frag Illuminati channel so you can see what it is about this fragrance and have some idea what it is. So that's what we have targeted for 2013 to help us get better information out to you guys. So if nothing else, guys, Eric, take us out, man.
I mean, I just want to correct them. We're not doing it in 2013. That's gone like 10 to
Well,
15. That's 10 years ago. Right.
I'm glad you listened, man. 2023, bro.
All right, 2023. So all right. But that's it. We the Frag Illuminati, y'all. We love y'all. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all
Take it
evening.
out, Bernie.
Oh yeah, and the Vikings lost. In case y'all missed it, the Vikings.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all take care. See you next week, everybody.
We
All
the
right. Peace,
Illuminati, y'all.
everybody.
Cut. Cut.